tour, and all of a sudden the K2 meter jumped all the way to the orange. It, like, flickered back and forth a few times and then just stopped, and now it's like completely gone.
There'd always be lights on, and you turn those lights off and you make your way out the door and turn everything off. You end up coming out that door and walking around this way and going there, and by the time I walk right about that tree, look back and the lights be back on.
And that you can hear little girls or children's voices. And there's a report of a little blonde-haired boy that has been singing the whole long as well.
Alabama is full of ghost stories.
There's just not too many places you can go in our state without hearing tales of the strange, the paranormal, and the macabre.
But are these stories true?
Our crew will travel to these reportedly haunted locations to learn their history and investigate their claims.
Our goal is to determine if there is any truth to the ghost stories that haunt our state.
But will we be prepared for what we may find along the way? Passed by Congress on January 31st, 1865, and ratified on December 6, 1865, the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States. But before this, however, was the tale of the death of William Penn Young. Rumored to be cruel to the slaves that worked for him, stories say that one night, a slave hid in a crevice by the stairs, and as Young made his way upstairs for the night, jumped down and slit his throat on the 13th step. We first learned of the Springfield mansion from our friend Brent. After contacting Opelika Parks and Rec, we were on the road once more, heading towards yet another adventure. Some of us, however, would end up more well-rested than the others. We finally arrived at the mansion, eager to set up equipment, as well as film interviews with eyewitnesses and former caretakers. We met up with current caretaker Jeff McCorney as he gave us a walk through the mansion, as well as the stories that haunted, starting with the infamous 13th step.
As you can look up here, Kevin, this is the staircase where the slave was standing up in that cubby hole. And once he got on the 13th step, they said that he got stabbed to death. And the kids and everything, they'll try to step over it because it's the one with the crack in it. So if you don't feel safe stepping on it, you don't have to.
Jeff also shared the tale of a ghostly woman in red who has been seen in the house, known to play the piano.
This room, as we're fixing to go in, was back in the day, they had, like, after they ate, a ladies' music room where the ladies would get together and play music and sing and stuff. And this room in here was the ladies' music room. And we've had, years back, there was like a boys or some scouts that came to spend the night in the house, and it was storming that night, they said, and one of the kids forgot that he left something in the room in here. He'd come back to get it, and it took him a while to come back, and the counselor came to get him, and there was a lady, they said, that was playing a piano dressed in red that was in here, and the counselor said he saw it too, and ended up, they didn't even spend the night here, they ended up in the gym at the rec center.
Surprisingly, Jeff wasn't the only person to have a tale of a ghostly piano player in the house. We met up with Carla Nicole as she shared a similar story with us, only with a few differences.
But there is a story about a camp counselor that goes by the name, his nickname Magic Mike. I know, of all things. And he supposedly had forgotten some in the camp, the Boy Scout room, and he went back in to go get it. And they noticed he had been gone for a really long time, so they sent somebody back in after to check on him. And they found him like curled up in the floor, pale and speechless. And he couldn't, at the time, even tell them what was going on. But later he said that he had seen and heard a man playing the piano when there's no piano anywhere. And that's another account that we've heard, that you'll hear faint pianos playing.
Though the stories may differ, that doesn't mean we didn't catch evidence of a phantom piano player later that night. Just across the road from the Springville mansion is where Penn Young himself, as well as his son, were laid to rest. Jeff walked us to the gravesite and also informed us of a supposed Native American burial ground nearby. Now we're currently walking to the gravesite of Penn Young. I believe Sean said he's going to do an isolation tonight on the 13th step. So I'm going to do an isolation at his gravesite and see if we can stir anything up. And people have said there's an Indian burial ground.
Somewhere on the backside of this hill, a few years back they came in here and cut the timber out and stuff. So my wife and I, we walked back there way before they came in here, and you could see like piles of rocks, and it looked like maybe 6 feet long. And that's what I'm assuming was the burial ground. And Faith Surfing, her crew came out one time, and it was dark, and they went back here at night to look at it, see if they could find it, and things happened after they did that. I mean, one of the people's house burnt down, because they say it's bad luck to mess around the Indian burial ground.
Yeah.
So in other words, listen to Pet Cemetery and you don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
And there goes
Yeah,
Jonathan.
there goes Jonathan. But Jonathan, it was nice knowing you, man.
Coming up.
Oh, it did it.
It did.
Oh, it did it.
Hello.
There's a very heavy feeling when you walk up these stairs.
Okay guys, Jonathan's been in these woods for 5 hours now. So we're gonna go look for him in the Indian Burial Ground. After rescuing Jonathan from accidentally getting buried in a pet cemetery, we made our way back to Pinyoung's house to talk with Sam Bailey, another member of the Opelika Parks and Rec. It was here he told us about a few things he had experienced at the Spring Villa mansion.
I stayed out here for a week when I was 16. And of course the house was locked up. And, no big deal. I checked on the stuff anyway. Got to be dark. In that back half of the house upstairs, there's no bathroom. The light was on. And I thought, God, it's weird. What the hell I am? So, at 16, I did not traipse up there in the dark by myself at night. I just let it ride. Next day, though, I went in and unlocked the door, went upstairs, turned the light off, locked her, and then back up. Next night, lights back on, same light. It's so strange. You go up there, next day I go cut it off. I'll check every lock on all the entrances and everything. It's padlocked, it's there. Throughout the day, no big deal. I come back to the house that evening, lights back on, same light, same bathroom, upstairs, the back part of the house.
Strangely enough, Sam wasn't the only person to experience lights turning off and on by themselves in the mansion. Joel Lawrence was assistant park manager in the mid-'80s. During this time, he experienced some very strange things himself. Yes, sir.
Where that tree is, kind of going that way, there was a mobile home. Right there where that Bowen is, that vacant place, there was a little block house, and it was pretty close. And I lived in a mobile home. It's probably been 32 years ago. And I was kind of the assistant caretaker, and we kind of split duties, who was doing something else and whatever. But, you know, every time you'd have family reunions, I mean, this place, I don't know, it may still be booked up all the time, I don't know. Don't keep up with it much anymore. But when all that was over, you'd go turn the lights off. And, so, what's he doing right there? You want to get upstairs with that ladder now? Because see, that was a weird deal. You could go upstairs, and there'd always be lights on. And you turn those lights off, and you make your way out the door and turn everything off. And you'd end up coming out that door and walking around this way and going there. And by the time I walk right about that tree, you look back and the lights be back on. And that happened so many times it's uncountable.
While Joel experienced the lights mysteriously being turned off and on, he also shared some of his more terrifying experiences with us.
Never had this happen to me before, and when I left here, it never happened again. I would have what somebody might call an out-of-body experience. I would find myself floating above myself while I was asleep and looking down.
Yeah.
And it'd be like one of those dreams where you're falling, but it wasn't the exact same thing. I mean, it was actually happening.
Actually out of your body.
Exactly. And that happened like 3 times, like I say, within a few month period. Never happened to me before, and it's never happened to me again. All right. I guess the first time I've experienced what I would call a ghost or a spirit would be another time, just one night. It wasn't in that same period of time, just another random night. I had an old wrought iron bed, and I was waking up by something had me by both of my ankles trying to pull me through the bed. I woke up and I looked, and there was this shadow of a person standing at the foot of the bed, had me by the ankles.
One thing our crew was noticing was the abundance of ghost stories that haunted the area, including tales of a child with sandy blonde hair and the spirits of children who supposedly drowned nearby.
You read my mind. There's a story that says 3 little girls died drowning in the lake, and that you can hear little girls or children's voices. And there's a report of the little blonde-haired boy that has been singing the whole long as well.
Yeah, who was it? The manager of this place said there was college kids that used to live here. They said that they saw a sandy-haired boy dressed in rags at this place. There was a house right in front of it.
We would have, this is years ago, we would have college kids from Auburn University. We would swap them a place to stay free just to have somebody live out here. Because there was nobody, there wasn't a caretaker house, we didn't have a full-time employee, it was just, we just wanted somebody in the park. We had a guy, and I want to say Michigan, but anyway, he was at Auburn. He stayed out here for about 6 months till he graduated. And when he graduated, he was in town talking to us, telling us he was leaving, turning in the key, that kind of stuff. And he said, he said, a couple of times while I was here, I would be in the living room and I would look into the window. There was a little sandy-haired boy dressed in rags. He said, I saw him a couple times. He said, and I'd always jump up and go out, and he was never there. Nothing to be seen. Well, okay. Some guy's got his imagination kind of run wild. It's night. It's spring, So we kind of didn't think much of it. But this guy's graduated. He's gone back to Michigan or wherever. We find another student 6 months later maybe. And those two guys didn't know each other. This guy moves in out here, stays here a year. Same story. Exactly same story. Little sandy-haired boy, rags for clothes. And he would jump up and go outside and nothing's here. Nobody's here. Well, these two guys didn't know each other. And it's not part of the Pin Young story that there would be a little boy dressed in rags. You'd think if these guys were saying, well, we saw Pin Young. Well, imagination got the better of them. But this guy, they told the exact same story. This guy graduates and leaves. It's probably a year before we find another kid to live out here. He told the same story. 3 different guys that never knew each other, never met each other, nothing, nothing in no relationship. Little sandy-haired boy in rags.
While everyone told us about the spirits who roamed there, the spirits were obviously listening. Even during the day, we were getting hits on the K2 meter and even experiencing knocking sounds upstairs.
Alright, so Sean, tell us exactly what just happened.
Okay, so we were in here getting a tour, and all of a sudden the K2 meter jumped all the way to the orange. It like flickered back and forth a few times and then just stopped, and now it's like completely gone. And it's nothing electric, like, I don't know, it's like it came and went.
Can you make it go to the orange again? Oh, it did it. It did it. Man, it feels different in here. You feel it, Sean?
Maybe like a little bit.
It might have just been because it just told me that. I'm over here thinking about a lady in red.
Yeah.
But I tell you, at night, it's a lot different being in here than during the daytime. I mean, it feels like to me somebody's watching me.
Yeah. Is that thing going off?
If there's anybody in here, can you make these lots light up for us?
It's going up. Just to clarify, you said this is the house that doesn't have power, correct?
Yes, this side doesn't have power.
This one doesn't even have power, man. I heard it too. It was straight up knock, knock, knock. We're about to do some interviews. We were getting ready to set up and film. That was Sean. We were getting ready to film, and from upstairs we heard 3 distinct knocking noises. As you can see, there is nobody up here.
Before our investigation, we went to snag a bite to eat at Zaxby's in Opelika. We were treated with hospitality like we had never seen before, and we made some awesome new friends along the way. Thank you again. With activity already starting, we were excited as we waited for nightfall to begin our investigation of the Spring Villa mansion.
coming up.
Can you give me a sign of your presence? Let me know that you're here.
See? That was a big one.
Out of nowhere, it sounded like a woman's voice.
Okay, I'm in your house alone right now. After our initial interviews, we spent the last few remaining hours of sunlight talking to passers-by, setting up pieces of equipment, as well as preparing to climb up and down a ladder to investigate the second floor of the other house. Okay, so we found out earlier in the day that there used to be a breezeway that connected these two houses together. Unfortunately, that is gone. How in the world is our group going to get to the second floor? That's right, this ladder.
Don't be alarmed by the rickety sound, everyone.
Yeah, don't be alarmed at all.
I'm holding it the best I can. Don't kill me. And he made it.
Finally, night fell in Opelika, and we got our investigation underway.
It would help if I took the limbs off. Alright, this is Kayla. I'm in the second floor of the big house by myself. And I just heard something behind me. You can't see my face very well. But let's see if there's some stuff up here. I'm completely alone, there's nobody in here with me. Here's the scary ladder I had to climb up. There's Kevin. I don't know how I'm going to get back down, by the way. I'm just going to sit up here and see what happens. Hope that a bat doesn't attack me.
Yeah. Okay, Kayla's up there now, doing some stuff. I'm about to go join her. There's Rachel. There and there. Yeah, just let them know that I locked that door, so if they need the key, let me know.
Okay, I'm gonna go in here then.
Okay. Yeah. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Hopefully this isn't the last episode of Alabama's Most Haunted. I just banged my kneecap pretty good. I'm coming up. In classic Scooby-Doo fashion, I met up with Kayla on the second floor of the Scout House, while Rachel, Sean, and Jonathan investigated Penn Young's house. It wasn't long before they started to get strange feelings.
Alright, Jonathan, what just happened?
Alright, so that's where our
K2 meter.
K2 meter.
Same thing though, yeah.
Yeah. About where this was sitting. I was sitting right here on this step, trying to get some activity. I wasn't really recording. I wish I had recorded this. But out of nowhere, it sounded like a woman's voice was standing about right here. And I couldn't pick up what she said, but it was a very monotone woman's voice. And she said something that prompted me to run outside and ask Sean and Kevin if they had said anything. And they said that they were singing and talking, but there was no woman around us. And it was very clear. It sounded like it came right in this room I'm not too sure.
What about earlier? Tell us what happened.
Yeah, earlier, I was in the room right above us down the hall, and you get me good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, up the stairs down the hall, I heard a whispering voice, and it sounded like a male's voice, and it kind of resembled that of Kevin's, to be honest with you. I don't really know.
While Jonathan was explaining what he had experienced, a strange dark shadow moves in the background. At this point, I was already upstairs in the scout house with Kayla, and Rachel was upstairs in the Pin Young house, setting up her audio recorder.
This is audio recording voice 002.mp3. I'm placing the audio recorder on the staircase cubbyhole where this story says that the man hid.
Up the stairs down the hall, I heard a whispering voice, and it sounded like a male's voice, and it kind of resembled.
Jonathan even looks towards the direction of the shadow, almost as if he had a feeling that something was there. Could this shadow have been the woman that Jonathan heard speaking moments before? As Rachel, Jonathan, and Sean continued to investigate the main house, catching several orbs while doing so, Kayla and I decided to bust out the spirit box in the scout house to see if anything would communicate with us. As soon as we started, our camera began to malfunction.
I'm not getting anything from you.
What's going on with this camera?
Okay. This place is huge, by the way.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yes. Is there anybody here with us tonight? Like I said, what's up?
What's it, Sean?
Can you tell me your name? No?
Have you stayed in this house before? Hello?
I think it said no.
Have you never stayed in this house?
Why are you here?
Can you tell me how many people are in this room right now? No? How many people are standing in this room right now? Do you only want yes or no questions?
We investigated for a few more minutes before Kayla left me to do an isolation session. Little did we know what was about to happen upstairs in the scout house.
Coming up.
Something just fell up here. Okay, we're currently walking through the woods up towards Pin Young and his son's grave.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Hang on.
The night was just getting started at the Spring Villa mansion. Kayla had just left me alone on the second floor of the scout house to meet up with the rest of the crew. Things felt different while I was alone. It didn't take long for things to get interesting.
Is there anybody up here with me tonight? Can you give me a sign of your presence? Let me know that you're here. Well, this is the bathroom where supposedly at one point there was a light switch, which is apparently gone. Let's try this one. Just so you guys know, I am in complete darkness right now. The only way I can see anything is with this night vision.
While I was investigating upstairs, Sean was experiencing something strange in Pin Young's house.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa.
What's going on, John?
Hang on. Yep.
You alright?
I just, there's a pain going down, it's back of my head. Hang
You
on.
okay?
Yep. Just,
What the crap? Oh my goodness.
what?
I could have sworn I just saw somebody standing over that banister. Right behind you.
There's a pain going down my head. Right down the back of my head.
Okay.
It's, kinda,
Stop.
no, it's not stopped, it's like,
Not that I'm seeing.
if you're in here messing with me, can you make a noise for me?
Stand right here. Wait, I can get you better on the shot.
Okay. Just felt something touch my arm. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy?
What?
You got your head started hurting on the 13th step.
Are you serious?
Yes, because you sat down on the 12th one.
Dude, I'm tingling again.
Really?
Yeah, right at this, almost the exact same. Whoa, my hairs are like standing up back there, it feels like.
Right above him. You can't. He's right above it. Whoa!
What?
Your shirt just moved.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if it was from you moving your arm, but it did this number. It went.
Okay, if you're in here with me and you're messing with me, can you make a noise for us?
Around the same time that Sean was experiencing these strange occurrences, I was experiencing something completely different in isolation.
Can you give me a sign that you're here? Something just fell up here. Something just fell up here. Can you give me a sign that you're here?
This crashing sound definitely caught me off guard. Jonathan climbed up the ladder to join me. The only thing we found that could have caused this loud crashing sound was a metal piece lying on the floor next to one of the old bed frames. It is possible this piece was hanging loosely, falling off as I walked along the floorboards, but we found it strange that soon after, we started getting voices on the spirit box.
Whoa! Did the said something. From here? Are you back here? Did you just knock over whatever I heard earlier? Was that you?
At one point, the spirit box said the name of one of our crew members.
Dude, it just said Rachel. It did.
Could this spirit have been wanting to talk to Rachel personally?
Can you tell us your name? Can you tell me your name? It said something, I couldn't make it out there. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? If you want to, kick that ball into this room. There's a green ball in there. If you don't, you've been playing with it earlier. Kick it in here. Use the energy from our equipment again. I know you can do it. You just emitted this little bolt in the floor. That's so funny. Do you think it was funny to throw that? Sound like some science stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
What the? Dude.
It just died.
Dude. This thing just died. I put a brand new battery in this thing today.
And the went mute.
The lights are still up.
The lights are on, but it just cut out completely.
That's really weird. Has it ever done that before?
I'm sitting on a walkie. Hold on. Sorry, that was my butt.
I'm in the house next door, just letting y'all know I'm gonna be in here by myself for a little bit.
Alrighty, we're still upstairs. We have the live feed going. We got a few things going on up here we can't quite explain.
While Jonathan, Sean, and I continued to investigate the second floor, Rachel was keeping an eye on the baby monitor downstairs. Kayla was investigating the Pinyang house alone.
There's a very heavy feeling when you walk up these stairs. Here's the infamous stair where supposedly Pinyang was killed. A lot of people don't believe that story, though. They say it was made up because he was killed after slavery was abolished. Saw that. Saw that. Anybody in here? Mr. Young, are you in here with me? This meter's not really going off at all. I think all the activity is next door with all the guys. I swear all the activity is up there on the second floor. There they are coming down the ladder.
After about 20 minutes of a pretty quiet investigation, we decided to switch houses. Jonathan, Sean, and I made our way into Pinyang's house, while Kayla met up with Rachel to keep an eye on the baby monitor in the scout house. We had no idea what was about to happen to Sean in Pinyang's house.
coming up.
Give me a sign of your presence.
Because when we came in here earlier, this was shut. And the last time I saw it was... Was that there?
No.
Dude, I do not remember that.
I don't either. Rachel and Kayla had just started keeping an eye on the baby monitor filming the second floor of the scout house.
I'll be here watching TV.
See? That was a big one.
While they were keeping an eye on the monitor, Sean, Jonathan, and I made our way back into Pin Young's house.
81. Oh yeah, it's freaking hot in here.
Oh yeah. 81, 82. There's anybody in here with us? Feel free to make this device in Sean's hand move to one of the other colored lights, please. Feel free to take any energy from our equipment, anything you need.
Okay. I cannot film and step at the same time, apparently.
You can. Oh. No change.
No change.
That is a change.
No.
The problem is all the heat rises.
Yeah, it's really hot up there.
Oh yeah, you can definitely feel heat.
Ooh, I just got maybe an orb. Ooh, I just got. Let's see. That was at about 2:22. It's either an orb or a bug. Hopefully an orb.
Is anybody here with us tonight? Can you please make a noise somewhere in the house for us? We heard you knocking earlier. Can you knock again?
I have a device in my hand that can light up different colors. Do you think you can make it light up to another color besides green? Just for reference, that's not an orb, that's just the laser pointer.
It was me. Earlier we were in this house and you made this thing light up despite the fact there's no electricity here. Can you do that again for us? After physically hearing what sounded like someone whistling, we walked into what used to be Pin Young's child's room. We found something written on the wall we didn't remember seeing during our interviews earlier that day. Which room
Yeah, I was hearing that too right before I heard the voice. I didn't know if it was just
Did you shut this, by the way?
I didn't shut that one. It's been open since I've been here.
Because when we came in here earlier, this was shut. And the last time I saw it was that there?
I don't know.
Dude, I do not remember that.
I don't either. Come here, Jonathan.
Jonathan, look at this. Was this here before?
I took some pictures of this area. Let me see.
Kill?
Is that kill in there? Whoa.
What?
Dude, this thing went all the way over red.
Oh, really?
Well, if this door was open like that, none of us would have seen it.
Dude, did you shut this?
Yeah, I shut that.
Oh, okay.
But if this door was open like this, then yeah, you wouldn't have seen it.
Oh, yeah, that might have been what it was, because I pulled that door. So it may have been there the whole time. But when I pulled the door earlier, I don't remember seeing that. I don't know, we'll have to check the footage back.
I got a picture here. The only problem is that door is comes to right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that might have been why we didn't see it.
Probably.
Because I pushed this earlier to right here, and I asked if they could move the door for me.
Most likely the word kill was on the wall the whole time. Chances are we simply overlooked it. We moved back towards Pin Young's room, where Jonathan claimed to see a dark shadow move a few feet away from him, similar to what had happened earlier that night.
Well, I guess we'll go regroup. Oh!
What?
I don't know if it was just my eyes adjusting, but that shadow right here, turn your light down. That shadow right there looked like it was a person moving for a second.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, up the stairs down the hall, I heard a whispering voice, and it sounded like a male's voice, and it kind of resembled that.
After witnessing the shadow, we tried to make contact with Pin Young. From there, Sean dug a little deeper to see if he could contact one of the slaves who may have worked for Pin Young and possibly killed him. Give us a sign that you're here. Just let us know. We're not here to harm you in any way. We just want to know that you're here.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but are there any slaves here?
Can you make this device light up for us? All you gotta do is walk up to it, touch it. Anything.
I don't know if it's how I'm standing or what's going on, but I got like tingling sensation going down my neck. Right at the bottom of my neck, like right where over to the left. Yep.
That's like sunburn. You're like really red.
It's right there. It's right at the bottom of my neck, right where my shoulder meets my neck or something.
Right here?
Yep.
You're a red mark going all the way around.
Here, Phil. See if you can film it.
Like that is a huge red.
Did y'all just hear that?
That helps?
No, there was like a.
It sounded like it was downstairs.
Can't really. The ring around Sean's neck was very red, and looked like someone had put a rope around it. This was also accompanied by a very red scratch mark down his back, which we'll show you in just a moment.
If you want to, just push that big silver button on the back and it'll turn the night vision off, and then you can just shine a light on it if you can't see.
Okay. Ah, that's right.
Can you see it?
Yeah, dude, you got like a pretty serious red mark going on.
For real?
Yeah. And it's only, yeah. And
Is it right through here?
It goes all the way around, man.
Right here.
Yeah, this one's going like that.
Well, like all of a sudden I felt tingling, and it was like down right at the bottom of my neck, like right through here, and kind of like a little bit down.
Whoa.
Dude, what the
Whoa.
crap?
What?
What is it?
Dude, you got scratches.
For real?
Yeah.
Can you see them on the camera?
You can
Oh,
see them
yeah.
in person.
Dude, I wonder if it's because I mentioned the slaves.
Might have been,
I
man.
wasn't trying to be disrespectful or anything. I was just asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
There's
gonna.
another one. It looks like there's another one forming too. Look. Alright.
Forming right before your eyes.
It looks like it.
Well, I'm gonna.
Coming up.
Made it to Pin Young and his son's grave. Seriously, just stop. Did you die on these stairs? After Sean's experience, I decided I was ready for my session at Pin Young's grave, but the rest of the group expressed concern about me going alone, in fear that I would either be ripped limb from limb by coyotes, or get lost in classic Blair Witch fashion.
All of this was probably Native American burial.
Made it to Pin Young and his son's grave.
Purple grave. Purple grave.
Pin Young, are you here at your grave?
Oh, his name was W. Wilbur Young. Huh?
William Pin Young.
No, it's Wilbur. I changed it. I changed the laws of history.
Okay. Unfortunately, our trek to Pin Young's grave was rather quiet, save for a few hits on the K2 meter. Seriously, just stop.
Dude, it went all the way to red,
Yeah.
and we were in the middle of the woods.
It was right as we were leaving Pin Young's grave.
And I mean, get it close to the camera, nothing. Get it over here, nothing.
With the night slowly approaching an end, we went back into Pin Young's house once more, where we caught a few orbs. Give me a sign of your presence. I performed a 10-minute isolation session in the house before I finally joined the rest of the group in the scout house, leaving the camera recording in this house alone. It was here we got some very interesting things. I'm gonna let this camera record till it dies completely. I'm gonna leave you alone in here with it. If you'd like to walk down the stairs or do anything, feel free.
At one point, the sounds of movement can be heard upstairs. This is followed by a sneeze and a sniffle coming from upstairs as well. Immediately after the sneeze, a large orb floats down the stairs, following the bend of the staircase. A few moments of silence go by before we capture something on the camera's audio that backs up one of the house's most famous ghost stories. As soon as it is heard, our camera's battery died.
But later, he said that he had seen and heard a man playing the piano when there's no piano anywhere.
Our night at the Spring Villa Mansion started off slow, but became very interesting to say the least. While many people believe that Pin Young met his demise at the hands of one of his slaves on the 13th step, many others claim the story isn't true. Regardless, it's very clear that the people of Opelika love their local legend, and after our night in the mansion, we can say without a shadow of a doubt, there's definitely something still wandering the halls. If you ever find yourself in Opelika, be sure to swing by the mansion. Maybe you yourself will see why the Spring Villa Mansion is apart.
Whoa. Dude, what the
Whoa,
crap?
what?
Dude, you got scratches.
Of Alabama's most haunted.
Full spectrum.
Full spectrum.
Make it go. Ah! Full spectrum. That's like, crap, that's creepy, Kevin. I thought you was on my side for a second. I was like, what?
I like being purple. I'm gonna change my skin to purple. Purple shine, purple shine.